And this plant has some bindweed on it, and you don't want to leave the bindweed on your stalk. You want to pull that off because the bindweed will cause molding, and you don't want your stalks to mold at all. So you just strip that off, have a nice clean stalk. There's a little bit more. Just pull that off, throw it away.
As we get closer to the root, there's no longer a hollow space anymore. It becomes real solid as it gets towards the ground in the base of the root. So that's a part that's out of the ground but close to the root system. No longer hollow. We might have to save this for next year so you can get me in line.
Right, you could actually maybe use that like a stalk, you know. You could like put your hands in them. And, this is from a stalk?
Yeah, look at that's the stalk.
That's amazing.
Isn't it?
That is like one heck of a stalk. Almost as big around as my wrist. And the side branches here are almost as big as most stalks are. So this is a hefty fellow right here. Hefty gal. Hefty gal.
Dr. Brooks Kelly has a way of taking the stalk and petrifying it naturally, non-toxic process, and even turning it into drumsticks.
I have a friend in New Mexico that makes pipes with it. He makes pipes, and he also makes beer taps out of hemp stalk. Well, I'm sure he's using cannabis stalk.
That's a cute idea if we could show people how to use this for so many different versatile drumsticks.
Paper.
Use that paper, yarn, necklace, jewelry.
Bedding
For
oil
animals. Absorbent.
Even marijuana stalks can be used for all that.
You know, isn't that weird that we've never thought about that before until hemp now? Why is everyone always trash their stuff and we've never tried it with the marijuana?
It's too much hassle.
It is. I know.
To make paper, but it's worth doing. You can make your little filters for J's and out of it, yeah.
I'd rather smoke that anyway.
Well, I think that now that hemp is legal, that we will maybe see a shift to where we'll be able to use the waste from medical grows and recreational grows for industrial use.
That'd be nice.
Because it's foolish to waste that stuff, and you could combine it with hemp and come up with all sorts of hemp-based products and hempcrete, and probably not the seeds, but...
And this particular field was dedicated to Alex Whiteplume this year. So Alex, this is for you. We think of you every day.
And it was a pleasure to meet you, Alex, most certainly. I hope you return in future years. So.
And I know we're going to see that restraining order lifted. So have hope.
It's an illegal restraining order.
Absolutely.
It's unconstitutional.
I told him that he should go sue the federal government for allowing the states to violate the Controlled Substance Act and prosecuting him all these years.
Oh, I see a little powdery mildew on this plant.
Yeah, I noticed some is starting to occur too. I think it's the bindweed is starting to...
Yeah, it looked like the bindweed actually had powdery mildew on some. So I'm going to pull this up and just show you that the powdery mildew, you really can't use the plant if it gets infected. You could use it for probably bedding, but you wouldn't want to use it for any edible use. If you were making paper, you would probably want to make sure the solution is really basic so it kills any spores.
Yep.
And you can see these white spots on here. None of the surrounding plants are infected. So this plant was probably weak, and he's probably right that the bindweed tends to wrap around, and a lot of the bindweed will have white spots on it as if it's infected with powdery mildew. So this you wouldn't even want to save the seed, because the seed could have the spores on it. They're so tiny that you can't see them. So this is best disposed of and not used at all. So I'm going to dispose of it right now.
I can pull the little ones out of the ground, but there's no way I can get these big ones.
Whoa!
Uh-oh. I'll help you with that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay, guys. Please. Let me try this. Uh-oh. It smells good. Uh-oh. Seed everywhere.
Many volunteers next year.
Yeah. It'll be much bigger next year plot. Somebody came here yesterday and said, Veronica said I could pick seed out of her garden.
Not.
Did it get a name? The person?
Yes.
Just anybody hearing that.
I know.
Not.
Bongo's like, no.
No.
I know Veronica, she would say that.
Was it someone you knew?
Yes, it was,
No comment.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It was some ladies that we do know.
well, I would say that you should contact those ladies.
I did, they're not on. For what? Okay, well hurry back because we're getting really full. The hangers? Yeah. You have a set back there and then there's a set over there on the chairs.
Ooh,
I know, wasn't it a nice one? I got a few nice
some of
sets
them
too.
smell pretty good. Those terpenes are pumping.
It's not happening.
No, I can't pull them up.
I can do maybe the males. See, the males are like easy to pull up.
Oh, well, they're dead.
Oh, is that why? This is going to be naked in a minute, this whole field.
It's time to cry, you know. Even though it's wonderful to harvest, there's something sort of poignant about watching the fields come down.
Oh, yeah.
And knowing that autumn's upon us and winter is to follow. But it might take all winter to deal with this stuff.
Oh, yeah. Harvesting is just obviously one part of it all.
Harvesting's the fun part, in my mind.
And then there's the work after it.
You plant by moon cycles, but do you harvest by moon cycles?
That's a good question. Should I have harvested during the blood moon the other night? That's what I was thinking.
Maybe.
I was thinking that too, but I
tired.
harvested the evening before the blood moon. Because I really didn't think I would wake up to get up at 3 a.m. to go outdoors and harvest my measly little hemp garden. Some of these plants are simply loaded with lateral branches.
Oh, yeah, aren't they? They're everywhere. It shouldn't really look like this. A hemp grow shouldn't really look like this. It should just be the stalk and the top. But that's what the hail did.
Yep, we
It
got
made
some
them into
bushing
big old
going
bushes.
on in this field. Still, it's quite pretty to see these tall tops that are branched out.
And then all of these milk plants will go to John Patterson for hempcrete.
Yep, every part of the plant will get used. Oh, not again. I think that we best not put anything else in this.
Okay.
It's like just...
Let me go get another little something. You just leave it right there. I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Let me go get a little something.
The buffalo of the plant world.
Yes. It's just too high up there. The center of gravity is...
Using all the plant.
Oh, that it is, yes. So you can use the stalks, the roots. There's a lot of extractions going on with the roots now. And my recommendation on that is to always have it tested, because so many soils have been used in the past with either fertilizers, or if you're near an old mining area, there could be any sort of tailings that are still in the soil. Certain areas of the country have very rich selenium deposits in the soil, and so you don't want those taken up. And
The same goes for the seeds,
yeah.
because that's where it concentrates. If there's heavy metals, it'll end up in the seeds.
Okay. So yeah, you wouldn't want to be ingesting those seeds. They might be okay for biofuels, but even that, then you're just releasing it into the air. So no good solution for pollution.
That's
for
true.
sure.